Welcome back to the To Tell the Truth 40th anniversary celebration. I'm Laura Chambers. Next up, an episode from November 1975 featuring a guy who's given us a million laughs. Here's a hint. What's up, Doc? He's the man who created the Merrie Melodies cartoons with Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, and that little bird who says, I taught cat. After that, an episode from 1978 with Joe Garagiola as host, where we'll meet the woman who was the real-life inspiration for the character Maria in The Sound of Music. Let's watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, from New York City, Garry Moore!
Special edition of the Tell. The one away from my friend Bill Wendell over there. There he is. I don't have to tell you that this is Bugs Bunny, and Bugs Bunny is. But our first contestant is the creator of Bugs Bunny, and Bugs. You don't mind if I call you Bugs, do you? Thanks, Bugs, Mr. Bunny. Anyhow, he knows this fellow very well, and so we're going to meet him as soon as Bugs and I meet the panel here all to tell the truth.
Bill Cullen! Peggy Cass! Nipsey Russell! And Kitty Carlisle!
Mr. Bunny, or Bugs, if you prefer, is going to come back a little later and pick out the real contestants for us, right?
Yeah.
All right. Nice to see you. Bugs Bunny. There I love that character. And, panel, I love cartoons, and it's cartoon time. Glue your eyes to your monitors, and let's get reintroduced to these favorite Looney Tune characters, first of whom is Bugs Bunny.
Guest starring your Looney Tune favorites, Porky Pig and Daffy Duck, Tweety Pie.
I thought I saw a pussy cat.
Elmer Fudd, and the lovable Wabbit himself. Bugs Bunny, superstar.
Did you ever have the feeling you was being watched?
That's all, folks.
Oh, I love the
Now let's meet the man behind that film.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Bob Clampett.
Number two.
My name is Bob Clampett.
Number three.
My name is Bob Clampett.
And it's up to you, panel, to pick out the real Bob Clampett, and here is his cartoon cavalcade. He says, I, Bob Clampett, created or co-created such famous cartoons as Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, Daffy Duck, Tweety, and Sylvester the Putty Tat. As a cartoon writer, director, animator, songwriter, and puppeteer, I helped draw the first harmonizing Merrie Melody cartoon and introduced such classic phrases as I taught a putty tat and suffering succotash. For my various efforts, I have received 3 TV Academy Awards and the Grand Shorts Award. When I do a Bugs Bunny cartoon, for example, I really get inside of him. I not only think like, feel like, walk like, and talk like Bugs. Confidentially, Doc. I am the wabbit! Signed, Bob Clampett. And while we prepare to separate the real Bob Clampett from his 2 imposters, let's roll some film for the benefit of our clients.
Hi.
TV. Now, across the way from us, we are indeed happy to have 3 gentlemen, each claiming to be Bob Clampett, creator or co-creator of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky the Pig, and innumerable other cartoons, including Sylvester the Cat. And let's start the ball rolling, please, with Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you. Number 2, are you still making Bugs Bunny? Number 2?
Well, no, actually not. But we are coming out with a feature-length film called Bugs Bunny Superstar. It'll be in the theaters in December.
I see. Oh, thank you. Number 3, who is the voice of Bugs Bunny?
Mel Blake.
And number 1, when did you start making these cartoons?
Did I personally start making them?
Yes.
1935.
Oh, and number 2, was that when they first began?
No, the Looney Tunes started in 1930.
And who started them?
Harmon and Ising, with Leon Schlesinger was the backer, the producer.
I see. And number 3, then, it says here that you do voices. What, do you do voices?
Yes, occasionally.
What kind of voices?
The wabbit and the putty cat, things like that.
Number 1, do you do the...
All right, let's go down, please, to Bill Cullen.
Number 1, did Looney Tunes predate the Disney efforts?
They're contemporaneous, about the same time, yes. In fact, no, Disney is about a year ahead.
And did Disney ever work for anyone else other than his own outfit?
No.
Was number 2, was Disney ever an animator for anybody or a cartoonist for anyone?
Actually, he had a short period of where he worked for film ads in Kansas City, but then he almost immediately started his own little company.
Number 3, now we don't see these, unfortunately, I'm sorry about it, we don't see these little short subjects as often as we used to, and indeed hardly ever at all. Is there any future for these television, for instance, remakes and stuff like that?
I would say at this point, in New York particularly, a very great future.
And what would that future be, number 3?
Well, such a character bringing such joy and happiness to the public, it would be in great demand now if presented in almost any theater of any kind.
Number 1, that was my...
Thank you, Bill, and we're going on to Peggy, please.
Number 2, it seems to me when I go to the movies now, when they have shorts, there are all these kind of esoteric shorts from Czechoslovakia. Why can't we get Bugs Bunny back and Sylvester and Tweety?
Well, that's just what... That's just what Larry Jackson, the producer-director of Bugs Bunny Superstar, wanted to do, and he's made this wonderful effort, and he's got us all together, and
Well, I wish you the best of luck. Now, number 1, what character is Walter Lantz responsible for?
Tom and Jerry.
Thank you. And number 3, was Crazy Cat ever in the movies?
Oh, yes, Crazy Cat, a cartoon, yes.
Number 1, who's Pete Fleischer? Pete Fleischer, number 1.
Oh, Pete Fleischer?
Yeah.
Pete Fleischer is a brother-in-law of Leon.
Thank you. Leon who? Fleischer? Leon who?
That was one of the most marvelous ever takes. Who was the answer? Fleischer. Oh, thank you. Leo Fleischer? Nipsey. Great double take.
Number 3, what was the name of the mouse in Crazy Cat?
Mickey Mouse.
Okay. Number 2, back to Peggy's question about some of our cartoons being from Czechoslovakia or European countries. Is that considered true animation, what you see?
it's very clever animation. They do it in Zagreb, and it's quite clever, but it's not the old personality animation that we try to get in Bugs Bunny.
Well, number one, in what we generally consider animation, does every part of a figure move? Is there a full movement?
Well, yes, but you got a problem. You see, the older stuff that we were doing back in the 30s was 10 or 12,000 drawings for 7 minutes. Today, it's down to 3,000 drawings for...
Sticking with number one, where are the Disney studios located in?
Burbank, California.
Do you know the street address?
No, I can't think of it offhand.
Okay.
A competitor.
Yes. Well, for what studio were you working when you first started doing the voices?
Warner's.
Yes. Do you know Mel Blanc?
Yes.
Does he do Porky the Pig?
Yes.
How many voices approximately?
Thousands of voices.
Oh, my, there you go, friends. We've got that one unstoppable voice, the voice of our bell, which makes us ballot. And who do you think it is? Is it number one? I have no idea. Or is it number two? Or is it number three? We're going to have to pay $50 to the group for each wrong guess. We pay them $500 if nobody comes up with the real creator of all of these marvelous characters, and Kitty starts.
Oh, I really have no idea at all. I just want them all to come back as soon as possible. I voted for number two.
I vote for number 2, and we're down to Bill Cullen.
Well, no, number 1 had me sold, but when he said Pete Fleischer was Leon's brother, it seems like the easy way out, you know. And number 3 had the mouse in Felix the Cat as Mickey Mouse, and I know Mickey was always in business for himself, as far as I know. So that leaves me number 2. He sounds like the fella, and I voted for him.
So you go along with Kitty. We got a pair of 2s and a beaming Miss Cass. You feel quite certain.
Woody I could do a voice.
That's easy for you to say.
Woody Woodpecker is done by Walter Lantz. So number 1 said it was somebody else. And number 3 said Crazy Cat and Mickey Mouse. And so it's got to be 2. Got to be.
Everybody's on number 2. And our Mr. Russell, are you going to go off on your own or where?
Well, I rejected number 3 because the mouse and the Crazy Cat is called Ignaz. That's right. And I was going along with number 2, but number 1 convinced me because Disney Studios are right down the street from another network, from this network, as a matter of fact, in Burbank.
True enough. All right, that's the way it is here, friends. Everybody has voted, and who better to pick out the real Bob Clampett than our old friend Bugs Bunny? Bugs, come out here, and somewhere you will find the man who created you. No, he said.
No, he's going back.
No, it's number 2. Share a seat, gentlemen. Share a carrot, then share a seat, if you will, while we find out who our imposters are. Number 1, sir, what is your real name? What do you do?
My name is Edward Langley, and I'm a writer and management consultant.
Ah. Number 3, I'm surprised that you didn't get a lot of votes. You look like a great rabbit. You look like a great rabbit.
Thank you.
Very. Well, what is your real name? What do you do?
My name is Alan Rice, and I am a public relations man for the Manhattan Blue Books.
Ah, sure. While we're handing out kudos here, candor compels me to admit that the Bugs Bunny that you're looking at is, well, it's not actually Bugs Bunny. He's a reasonable facsimile thereof, but a very good one, I think you'll agree. He's a member of our staff who needs the money. It's not Mark Goodson, it's Dick DiBartolo is in the top. And Bob Clampett, before you leave us, do you have any farewell words for us?
Well, Gary, I would just like to say, that's all, folks.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bud. Thank you, Imposter. Oh, dear. Now, next we're going to meet an authority, one of the country's most celebrated resort hotels. But first, let's check in with our own sponsors.
Watch Crime Gexo. No COD orders, please.
Now let us meet our hotel expert.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Tanya Grosinger.
Number 2.
My name is Tanya Grosinger.
Number 3.
My name is Tanya Grosinger.
And here is the bell-ringing story of Tanya Grosinger. She says, I, Tanya Grosinger, can tell you everything you wanted to know, but were afraid to ask, about one of America's most famous resort hotels. The hotel in question is Grosinger's. Known as the Queen of the Mountains, Grosinger's is located in the Catskills, 95 miles from New York City. When I grew up there in the 1950s, the guiding light of the resort was my relative, the famous Jenny Grosinger. More than anything else, Grosinger's means good food, entertainment, and celebrities, such as President Harry Truman and Nelson Rockefeller, seen here along with Rocky Marciano. I've written a book on this glamorous spot in which I give the details of Eddie Fisher's marriage to Debbie Reynolds, and I offer my candid views of many of today's leading show business personalities. Read all about it in Growing Up at Grossinger's. Signed, Tanya Grosinger. And let's start the questioning, please, with Bill Cullen.
Number 3, you mentioned that you're a relative of the famous Jenny Grosinger. What is the relationship?
It's a relation to second cousin.
Number 1, Grossinger's, you mentioned you were there in the 1950s. When did Grossinger's actually begin?
In 1915.
And how did it begin?
It started out as a little farmhouse where my cousin, Jenny Grosinger, and her parents came up to get away from the Lower East Side tenements of New York City and breathe fresh air.
And how many guests could they handle when it first started, number 1?
The big season the first year was 8.
Number 2, if during the 50s, when someone like Eddie Fisher, to mention a specific name, wanted to get to Grossinger's by air, was there a way that you could fly from New York to Grossinger's?
Yes, Grossinger's had a private airport right on the property.
And did it have a name other than Grossinger's Airport, number 2?
No.
Number 1, did anyone ever go up there and fly into a place called Liberty, New York?
They flew into the Grosinger Airport, which was a mile from the town of Liberty, New York.
Number 2, Eddie Fisher.
And thank you, Bill. We're going to go to Peggy.
Thank you. Number 2, are you also Jenny Grossinger's second cousin?
Yes.
And yet you grew up there?
From the time I was 8, yes.
Boy, she's a kind lady to take it even second cousins on. My first cousins are hardly around. Number 1, how many golf courses do you have?
2, one 18-hole and one 9-hole.
And number 3, do you have, when you have skiing, you do have skiing, right?
Yes.
Do you have a tow rope or a chair pull or what kind of?
Chair pull.
Thank you. And number 1, how much does it cost to stay there a night? Double.
An average of $35 to $45 per person.
Including food?
Including food and activities.
Number 3, who plays Simple Simon?
Lou Goldstein.
Thank you. And number 2, Mrs. Lou Goldstein's professional name is what?
Mary Ann Jones.
Thank you. And number 1, do you do as good a business in the, I know you do a terrific business in the summer, but do you do a pretty good winter business as well?
Very definitely, because we have conventions there.
Oh, conventions.
And it takes us to Nipsey.
Number 1, who was Milt Blackstone?
He was the public relations genius behind Grossinger's and Eddie Fisher's.
Okay, number 3, who is Paul? Does the name Paul mean anything to you?
He was the manager of the hotel. It's Jenny's son.
Okay. Number 2, at what exit on Route 17 is Grossinger's?
105.
All right. Number 1, who is the entertainment director there now?
Jerry Weiss.
Still with number 1, how many buildings are there now, and how many were there in the first Grossinger's farm?
There are 15 now, and there was only one Grosinger farm. It was a very small farm.
I see there's one slogan that's on the billboard at exit 113 going up. It doesn't exist, it just says, Grossinger's has something. What, do you know what that sign says, number 1?
Grossinger's has everything.
No more questions. That takes us, please, to Kitty.
Well, I have to disqualify myself because I've been there and I know Grossinger's has everything, and I knew Jenny very well, and I took the children up there, and my husband liked it very much, and so and also I've interviewed Tanya Grosinger, so I was disqualified myself.
Oh, all right, Kitty. Well, this disqualification, as you know, counts automatically as a wrong vote. So that is one wrong vote down, and the bell has rung. And that means everybody else, without the benefit of Kitty's special knowledge, is going to have to write down something. Write down a 1, or write down a 2, or write down a 3. And Bill Cullen, you start.
You know what's interesting? You find out things on this show about people other than the guests, you know?
Yes.
Because you ask questions to which you know the answer to see if they answer correctly, right?
Right.
Did you notice when Peggy asked how much her room was at Grosinger, she said double? Ponder that. I voted for number 1.
You used to fly up there.
Yeah.
All righty, we got a number 1 showing you, and
Any protest?
Miss Gass?
I have a part-time travel service.
Indeed. Touche.
I voted, number 1 knew absolutely everything, but number 3 knew who plays Simple Simon, and she was right, so I voted for number 3. I love to play Simple Simon.
So there you go. We got them on both
Well,
ends.
if
1
what
and
Peggy's thinking is correct, I may be wrong then, because I've appeared at Gross Singers a number of times, both in their old playhouse and in their new nightclub. Jerry Weiss is the producer there now, and the sign says, simply Gross Singers has everything. I voted for number 1. I've never met Tanya.
We got a pair of 1s, we got a 3, and from Kitty, we have a disqualification, which, as I said, counts as a wrong vote. So, with the votes all in with the real, Tanya Grossinger, please stand up. There you go. Thank you very much, Ms. Grossinger. Now let's go on down the line and see how we go. Number 2, what is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Elaine Singer, and I'm a housewife, and I have 2 children.
Good to have you here. And who had the vote for number 3? I can't see down the line. Peg did. Number 3, what is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Julie Moscow, and I'm the founder of a company called Identipet, which nationally tattoos and registers dogs.
Oh, that's good.
I thought it was interesting, Peggy, that you were the only one out of the 4 who pronounced it Grossingers.
Yeah, isn't it?
It's Grossingers.
What do I know?
It's with a hard G.
Grossingers.
Grossingers, yeah. Funny, Jimmy Durante, years ago, and I were working on a new piece of material, and Jimmy, doesn't always read quite correctly on a first reading in particular. And he had a song. Tanya, I thought you ought to know about this. He was singing this song for the first time. We were doing it as a duet, and he was saying, "A trip to the moon on Grossinger's wings." Yeah. Tanya Grossinger, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The number.
Bill Wendell was just telling our audience how great they've been, and they have, on behalf of the panel and all of us.
Our Central characters today will receive a True Test 8-gallon shop vac from True Value Hardware Stores, with combined value and personal service in over 5,000 nationwide locations. And a deluxe kit of Artex roll-on decorative paint, the complete home and fashion decorative paint in the tube. Artex, Hobby Products, Lima, Ohio. This is Bill Wendell speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.